As listeners, we want you to understand that the solution of business, tax, and legal issues depends on many factors, including local, state, and federal laws. Listeners' names and questions may be simulated. The show is not intended to offer business, tax, or legal advice, and Spiegel and Utrera PA, its attorneys, and Lawrence J. Spiegel recommend you seek legal advice from an attorney about your specific matter. AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. There are only two types of people, those in business and those who wish they were. Join Larry Spiegel, entrepreneur, author, and managing shareholder of Spiegel and Utrera PA, with host Joe Castello, as they tackle issues and challenges associated with starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business in today's highly competitive marketplace. It's time to start or expand your business today. And now, here's Larry Spiegel and Joe Castello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. I'm Joe Castello, once again joined in studio by entrepreneur, author, and managing shareholder at Spiegel and Utrera PA, Larry Spiegel. Larry, welcome back.
Well, Joe, thank you for having me back. I'm ready to go. I've really boned up on the things I need to know about, and I can't wait to answer the questions that come in today.
We're going to work you today. We're going to work you with the questions from the listeners out there. And, folks, if this is the first time that you've ever heard our show, it's basically an opportunity for you to bounce your entrepreneurial questions off of Larry, who's been doing this for a very long time. Larry, you've been in business for quite a while.
About 40 years, Joe.
And you've encountered many issues and troubles and things out there that you were able to overcome and experience gained. Many
situations, and also things are evolving all the time.
People out there encountering things, and you've got to be fleet of foot to deal in this world.
There's lots of changes going on all the time, and different kinds of demands occurring, pulling things along. And with an entrepreneur, any entrepreneur knows that every day is a challenge in his business, and the more he thinks he's got everything organized and together, the more things change.
I can totally imagine. So, folks, if you're out there, if you're in business, if you're looking to buy a business, if you're looking to try to grow a business that you have had for a while, and there's something you've been thinking about, but you're kicking it around, you're not sure, well, this is the show for you to ask your question. We have a couple of ways for you to get a hold of us here on this show. One is the caller line, 800-520-7600. It's a voicemail, so 24 hours a day. If you're up at 3 a.m., you got a question like, man, I wonder what I should do. I don't know who to ask. Call in, leave your name and your question. Of course, our producers will sort through them and present them on the show. Also, you can email radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. The emails and calls have come in. Larry, you ready to tackle them?
Let's go.
Let's do it. First question coming from Freddie. Hello, this is Freddie. I'm a salesman, and one of my suppliers has put his business up for sale. I am interested in purchasing it, but I don't know if his asking price is too much. It seems kind of high. My question is, how can I find out if his business is worth what he is asking for? What information should I be asking to get an idea of what his business is really worth? Thank you for your time. I'll be listening, says Freddie.
Well, Freddie, I'm excited about your question. I'll tell you why, and that's because it's very difficult to find a good business. So if you already have an insight as to this customer of yours' business, you have accomplished a great deal. Now, as far as the valuation of the business is concerned, it's pretty much what your buyer is willing to pay and what the seller is willing to accept. I would say it's more an issue of the negotiation of the price, but it has to be based on reason. And the only type of reason that you can work with is that which is a result of an investigation that you make into that business. Now, that investigation might be spending time at the business on a hands-on basis and determining its sales. The seller may not be willing to disclose that information to you until he enters into a contract with you. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But you have to move in that direction with the seller, win him over, work with him, and get information from the seller so that you can begin to put a price on the business. Now, you asked me, what's the business really worth? Well, There are many, many formulas out there that are available. You start with the fact that a business may very well be worth 1 year's income. Are you buying a job? Are you willing to pay 1 year's pay for that job? That will go on indefinitely. Another very important element is, what is your expectation of what you can do with the business? Can you breathe life into the business? Can you double its sales? Well, just think, if you could double its sales and profits within 12 months, and you only paid one time its annual earnings, 1 year after you bought it, you in fact paid a half a year's earnings for it. A lot of it has to do with what you believe that you can do with the business also. The other things would be, what are the assets of the business? What are the hard assets? Are there any patents? Are there any license agreements? Are there any exclusive distribution agreements? This idea of price is going to revolve around your ability to investigate and get as many details as possible. Once you have those, it will not be difficult to determine the value of the business.
Freddie, great question. Way to get Larry excited about your question right at the start of the show. Got you pumped up there, Larry.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because I understand how difficult it is to find a good business to purchase.
I can only imagine. You talk about people, whether they're buying a house or a car, they put in a lot of time investing. A business, not only can it pay you and basically be your source of income in your life.
That's right.
Huge.
No, all I was going to say is that it is very difficult to find a good business. And the only way to know is if you found one is by looking at them, investigating them. And when you do find the right business, you'll know it.
We'll be back with more of your questions. 800-520-7600 or radio show at AmeriLawyer.com. We'll be back after this on AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today.
Start or expand your business today.
There are some mistakes in business that may cause the occasional headache. Then there are some mistakes in business that may keep you up all night for weeks and months at a time. Avoid those mistakes by seeking strategic business and legal advice from a team of attorneys ready to help you. Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club can assist you with the tough legal and business questions at crucial times. Call toll-free 800-734-9900 to receive your annual membership and be entitled to get unlimited strategic business and legal advice for a year. The General Counsel Club can assist with how to buy or sell business, converting hobby expenses into legitimate business expenses. What are legitimate business expenses for tax purposes? Tips on leasing a business location, whether for retail, office, warehouse, or industrial. Leasing versus buying options for vehicles and equipment. IRS examinations, audits, liens, levies, deficiencies, and settlements of tax dispute. Knowledge is power, and knowing that Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club is one phone call away may give you the confidence to succeed during the day and rest well at night. Call 800-734-9900 or log on to AmeriLawyer.com today.
Got a question about starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business? Email radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. Listeners' questions may air on episodes of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. That's radioshow@AmeriLawyer.com. Now back to Start or Expand Your Business Today.
Welcome back to AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. Now, the show is not just about starting or expanding your business. There's a lot of people buying and selling businesses out there, too. Larry Spiegel is back with us. Larry, that's going on all the time.
Every day, and more so in this climate we find ourselves in today, because there are a lot of business owners who are willing to sell their businesses that some years ago would not even consider doing it, but they feel like, having been through this economic downturn, they don't want to go through this again, and they are willing to relinquish their business. And I can't stress how important that is to potential young people who are interested in purchasing a business. And sometimes the purchasing of a business is a much better avenue to follow than starting a business.
Because some of the heavy lifting has already been done.
Well, there could be a nice big client base, customer base, a lot of goodwill. There are many, many intangible facets that relate to a business that are inherent in a business that you purchase.
Let's get back to the questions. 800-520-7600 or radio show@AmeriLawyer.com. Next question coming from Mike.
My name is Mike. I recently purchased a mobile car wash business. It came with a van, all the washing equipment, and a small client list. I would like to start advertising and grow the business, but I don't have any more money to invest. My question is, how can I start to build business credit in order to get a business loan or credit cards without being personally liable? Thanks for your answer.
Well, Mike, thank you for your question, and congratulations on the purchase of your mobile car wash business. Let me address a couple of things about it. First of all, it looks to me like you did buy the equipment and you obtained a small client list. I would have rathered you didn't get any equipment and you got a large client list, because like any business, the client base is what is important. Now, on the other hand, you have this idea about advertising and promotion, and you're thinking about developing business credit, I'm assuming, for that purpose. But I would not be too quick to spend a lot of money in advertising and promotion for this type of business. I would think that this kind of business lends itself to hand flyers and some promotion like that that's tied in with some marketing strategy that you could employ. Perhaps, we see this at car washes where buy 10 car washes, get one free. Maybe you'll do 5 car washes and they'll get one free. You need some marketing strategy coupled with a flyer. You do say it's a mobile car wash business. I'm wondering if maybe as part of your strategy, a couple of days a week, it might be stationary at some location, a service station or whatnot, and then people come to rely on you being in that location on those days, and they take advantage of your business there. Going back to advertising in a situation like that, a sign at that location, even a large handheld sign, will drive in a lot of business over the weekend. Now, if we go to credit in that type of business, and when it comes to developing business credit, we always look to the type of business first to determine what kind of relationship that business has with trade creditors, because I'm always in favor of developing trade credit. This business probably does not have a lot of trade creditors, although I could see where there's some supplies that you might utilize and perhaps even equipment that you want to purchase. I believe that supplies should be purchased on credit with suppliers. Even if you pay a little bit more money, you're developing your credit relationship with them and your credit file. Additionally, there's going to be equipment that you will need from time to time, and I would look to lease that equipment. I don't think it's going to be that expensive. You're going to pay a little bit more because you're probably going to be in a position to just purchase it. But I would go ahead and I would lease, again, because I'm establishing and building my business credit, and in these cases without being personally liable. If I build my credit file up enough, I may get to a point where I would qualify for some loan from an asset-based lender, perhaps, where a personal guarantee would not be an issue. Another thing is credit cards, but we don't see too many credit card issuers today issuing cards without personal liability. It is something that went on before 2008, but today we don't see very much of that.
Mike, thanks for your call. Great question. Delving really into it, there's a lot of layers.
Well, like anything, there's a great deal of issues, and there's more issues we could talk about also. I hope I've given Mike enough to where he can move forward with this business and isn't really under the impression that he has to spend a great deal of money on advertising and promotion. And sometimes it's just a marketing strategy, a location, and these things can develop a great deal of cash flow for his business.
Mike, thanks for your question. Next up, Sean wants to know, I own a trademark and have been recently contacted by an attorney representing a company with a similar mark to mine. We are in different businesses, and I do not have the desire or the finances to fight this in any way. My question is there a way for me to capitalize from this situation instead of fighting it? Thank you, says Sean.
Well, Sean, I think you are thinking along the right lines. However, you really have to defer in this situation to a lawyer to handle this for you, because you want your situation to be on the same footing as this attorney that's contacting you. Now, the issues involved here are the length of time you've used the mark versus the length of time they've used the mark. Where do you use the mark? Where do they use it? And as you've already pointed out, you're in a different type of business. All these things are elements to be taken into consideration. This idea is whether or not you have a leg up as it relates to the mark versus them. I would say that from the information you provided, there's a good chance that you have a leg up, and that, yes, you could probably negotiate a settlement with these people. So anyway, I think that you have a fairly strong position based upon the information that you've provided us, and I would follow through with this if I were you. I would look to hire a lawyer, and perhaps you could find one on a contingency fee basis who would be happy to negotiate a settlement for you. Much of this depends on the need of the other party. How badly do they want your mark or want you out of the way? We do not know what the answer to that is, and probably we will never know. But that has a great deal to do with this situation. Now, we do know they contacted you, so that means there's some interest there. But the amount of money, it would seem to me, would be dependent upon how strong their interest was that you no longer use the mark.
Sean, great question. Best of luck to you. Let us know how it all turns out. And for you folks out there, if you've got a question, something running through your mind, I'm sure these kind of conversations, Larry, activate the questions in people who are out there listening. Maybe they're an entrepreneur. Maybe they want to get into something. They don't know what the questions are, but when you answer one question, other possible questions pop up.
Well, without a doubt, and I'm sure there's people out there that disagree with the answers also. But that's why we have our call-in line. We'd love to hear from you and whatever you have to say. Give us a call.
800-520-7600 or radio show at AmeriLawyer.com. We'll be back after this on AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today.
AmeriLawyer.com.
Start or expand your business today. Form your corporation for as little as $104.95. Each corporation is complete and includes state filing fees, corporation records book, corporate seal, articles of incorporation, corporate bylaws, corporate minutes, stock certificates, preliminary name search, and attorney's fees. Spiegel and Joe PA and AmeriLawyer.com can also help you with assumed or fictitious business names, advising on legitimate business expenses for tax purposes, discussing the converting of personal expenses into deductible business expenses, assisting you in developing a service agreement for your business, answering your questions on the advantages of minority-owned business certification, explaining the differences between a corporation and a limited liability company, and the benefits of creating either a regular corporation, S corporation, or a limited liability company. Knowledge is power. Order over the phone at 800-603-3900. That's 800-603-3900 or online at AmeriLawyer.com.
Got a question about starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business? Call 800-520-7600. Just leave your name and your question. Listeners' questions may air on episodes of AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. That's 800-520-7600. Now back to Start or Expand Your Business Today.
Final segment here on AmeriLawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today. Joe Castello along with Larry Spiegel answering your questions about starting, expanding, buying, or selling your business. The questions are coming in, Larry. These people got questions.
I can't wait to hear them, Joe. We can get started helping them out, answering all their questions, developing the issues.
That's exactly what we're doing, and if you want to get on board, 800-520-7600. Next question coming from Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and I'm a musician. I play the drums, and I've got a recording studio in my home. It's in an extra bedroom in my house. Occasionally, I let other musicians use the studio, and I charge a fee for studio time. My main question is, what if one of these guys were to slip, fall, and get hurt in my house? Would this be covered by my homeowner's insurance? I don't make a lot of money doing this, and I'm wondering if it is not worth the problems it would cause me. Thanks for your answer.
Well, Daniel, that's it's an interesting question. I'm sure this is going on in a number of places. I think at the outset, what you have to consider here is getting a release signed before anybody uses your facilities. So that's in place. Now, when you turn to the idea of insurance coverage, and we get these types of questions frequently, it's not going to be covered under your homeowner's insurance unless you have added the business as an additional insured under the policy. Now, can you do that? The only way you can find out is by talking to your insurance agent. And if you can't do that, then he may be in a position to offer you another policy, something I call a business package policy. And the rates on those are fairly reasonable and might be something that you'd be willing to do. The idea also that it seems to me like you feel like that many of these things that are going on, it's just not giving you enough money for what the potential possible liability could be. That may very well be the case. Only you can answer that.
We speak a lot about confidence, Larry. This sounds like a real confidence question. If this guy had the confidence to know that he was covered if something were to happen, he might be a lot more willing to go out and sell the fact that he's got a studio. Not everyone has that, and he might have more clients out there willing to jump on board, but he's kind of viewing it as, I don't know what to do. Is this a situation where the insurance policy might give him the confidence to go out and make more sales?
Well, Joe, you're talking about, can you really legitimize this operation in his bedroom? And I would say that he cannot, because you cannot operate this kind of a business from a residential home. If one developed a business and concentrated on sales, then go out and find a location for your business. Doesn't have to be large. And then work on that and marketing that. If he can market the bedroom concept, he can surely market the concept where he's rented a one-room office or 1.5-room office and begin to work on developing his business. I'm not saying that that's what he needs to do, but as far as the issues that are concerned about insurance, he's got to talk to his insurance agent. And it's definitely not covered under his homeowner's insurance now.
Daniel, thanks for your question. We certainly appreciate it. Next one, this one coming from Jake. Hi, guys. Love the show. My name is Jake, and I have a question about business expenses. I would like to know, if I take a client out to lunch or dinner, must actual business be conducted or discussed in order for it to be a legitimate business expense? I find that I take a lot of clients out to lunch and dinner, but no actual business is being conducted at the time. These clients are not my friends. The only reason I'm out with them is to get more business by socializing and networking. What can I do to make sure that I'm good? Thanks, says Jake.
Well, Jake, thank you for your question. What I would approach this, I would say that it is deductible because your intention is strictly to develop your business as a result of this expense. However, I do think also that you should address a topic in these meetings that is business-related. And when you do your documentation for the meeting and the receipt for your own internal record-keeping purposes, I would note on there that what was discussed. Now, I'm not saying that everything in the meeting or the lunch is about business, but I think that there are some things that, or at least one thing that needs to be brought up, whether you're delivering them a new catalog, telling about a new schedule, a new product, whatever. And it does not have to be that extensive because we both know that the intention is to build your business in the social context of taking this business prospect or customer out to lunch. I wanted to touch on one other thing because I see this frequently. That is this idea where two people in business go out for lunch and they discuss their businesses amongst them, and they each pay for their own lunch. And then the question arises, is that deductible? And the answer is it is. So you don't necessarily have to pay for another person's lunch or dinner in order to make yours deductible. I wanted you to be sure that you understood that. But I would definitely want to have some business information on my internal documentation where I file this receipt away to indicate what was discussed. And if I did not discuss anything about the business, then what was the purpose of the meeting, the lunch, the dinner? If you can answer that by plugging in a business reason, then I don't see any problem at all with the deduction.
Jake, thanks for your question. We appreciate it. 800-520-7600. If you've got an entrepreneurial question, if you have a business, if you're starting, you want to expand, you're looking to buy something, you're looking to sell something, send us your question. We'll use it on the show. Just leave your name and your question on our call-in line, 800-520-7600. And that's going to do it for questions this week. Now it's time for Larry's final thought. Larry?
Well, Joe, I was thinking about today, what are the two hardest things that an entrepreneur has to address? One is failure and the other is success. And I think that if we fail, we learn a great deal from that. It's very difficult to handle, but we can learn a great deal from it. And by the same token, if we succeed, we have to be very careful in how we handle that also. These are the two things that I'm willing to put out there today that I think are important.
Success and failure, two things that you will encounter in life. Larry, great job as usual tackling these questions. Folks, if you've got a question, 800-520-7600. Leave your name on our caller line, your question, and we'll get to them on the show, or radioshow@amerilawyer.com. Excellent work once again, Larry.
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me. I hope we helped some of the callers out today.
I'm sure we did, and they're out there, and the questions are going to keep on coming here on the show. You can check the website, amerilawyer.com. Larry, take us home.
Well, Joe, as always, I think you ought to plan your work and work your plan if you're out there. And as all these entrepreneurs know, good things will happen over and over again, but it's a great deal of work.
Keep on working, folks, and we'll see you next time right here on amerilawyer.com presents Start or Expand Your Business Today.
amerilawyer.com, where understanding your business is our business.
There are some mistakes in business that may cause the occasional headache. Then there are some mistakes in business that may keep you up all night for weeks and months at a time. Avoid those mistakes by seeking strategic business and legal advice from a team of attorneys ready to help you. Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club can assist you with the tough legal and business questions at crucial times. Call toll-free 800-734-9900 to receive your annual membership and be entitled to get unlimited strategic business and legal advice for a year. The General Counsel Club can assist with selecting a legal and tax structure for your business, building business credit, when a trust should own your corporation or limited liability company. What are the benefits of forming a corporation or a limited liability company? What are the differences between a corporation and limited liability company? Using employees versus independent contractors. Knowledge is power, and knowing that Spiegel and Joe PA's General Counsel Club is one phone call away may give you the confidence to succeed during the day and rest well at night. Call 800-734-9900 or log on to amerilawyer.com today.